The night before Jesus was crucified, he was eating the Passover meal with his disciples. At that meal, Jesus told them that they would all desert him. That would be heavy news. Peter said no, he wouldn't. He said even if all the rest deserted Jesus, he never would. He saw himself as sold out for Jesus, passionate to defend him, and he was going to be a hero. But Jesus told him that before the rooster crowed in the morning, Peter would actually deny him 3 times. This was very distressing for Peter. He said no, never. He would even die for Jesus. Peter wanted to be a hero, so that night, as they set out into that terrible night, he took along a sword. Then Judas arrived with the Jewish leaders and the soldiers. As Jesus was being handed over to them, Peter took out his sword and lopped off the high priest's servant's ear. But Jesus said, "No, Peter, put away your sword." Jesus was the real hero, and he healed his enemy's ear. Later that night, Peter followed Jesus to the high priest's courtyard. When people asked him if he was with Jesus, he denied it 3 times, saying he didn't even know Jesus, and punctuating his words with oaths and curses. And then the rooster crowed. At this point, Jesus looked straight at Peter, and that's when reality hit. Peter saw what had happened, and he wept bitterly. He was miserable. Instead of being a hero for Jesus, he had profoundly let him down. With that look, Jesus exposed what was in Peter's heart. He showed Peter his blind spot, that he was capable of denying Jesus. This reminds me of the conversation Jesus had with a rich young man who was keen to gain eternal life and who saw his performance at keeping the law as pretty impressive. Through that conversation, as Jesus so brilliantly does, he exposed this young man's blind spot of actually worshiping money more than he worshiped God. And the passage says, Jesus looked at him and loved him. We are the same. We are not aware of our capacity for denying Jesus, and we look at ourselves and judge ourselves according to our good intentions. But Jesus knows more of what's actually in our heart. And he looks at us and loves us. With honesty and deep compassion, he gives us reality checks, exposing these blind spots to us. There are many ways we deny Jesus, ways we let him down and the people around us, the ones he has given us to love. Like the disciples, we can be competitive in trying to out-hero each other. Like Peter, we can create wounds that then Jesus needs to heal. Or like the rich young man, we can worship other things more than we worship Jesus. Jesus looks at us, he sees us in our failure and denial and our ensuing misery, and he loves us. He too has wept and felt the bitter weight of sin, our sin, and he will be our hero even in this as we let him. Here are a couple questions to think about. How have you denied or betrayed Jesus or the people he's given us to love? And how has Jesus looked at us and loved us, even identifying our blind spots and denials?